Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bowman here, and today we are continuing our playthrough of Planescape Torment, and we'll start off by talking to Yellow Fingers here. This weaselly-looking fellow is skulking about the garbage like a tattered shadow. Seeing you and Morty, he beckons to you. Hey, that skull. Where'd you get that skull? My skull. Give it back to me. Morty turns to the hover. Pike off. This is not your skull. You call me a liar? Skull's mine, mine. He mumbles for a moment, eyes rolling and darting. You thief spitting lies, I'll gotcha. I wouldn't try it. The man glances at you, eyes narrow. He doesn't look too sure of his chances. He mumbles a bit, but doesn't do anything. Miss Skull, you're a thief stealing. What proof do you have that the skull is yours? He stares at you for a moment, like you're addled. It's Pike and mine. Talking proof. Don't know nothing. Give me the skull back nows. This is not your skull. Go on, try it. See what happens. Get lost. You suddenly notice the Yellow Fingers is standing too close to you, and his hand darts out as if trying to pluck your purse. Grab his hand. You grab his hand. Yellow Fingers looks startled. Hey, what are you doing? Let go. He struggles, but can't break your grip. You were robbing me. I'm gonna kill you. Alright, no, mistake. We settle this without bringing a dead body. I'll spare your life for some information. A little drink goes a long way. You seem to forget your circumstances. Tell me now. Close by. Just isn't there. Always moving about. Must have somewhere to go through. We got lots of body around here. Who knows where the hole is, but it ain't me. I think you're lying. Spill the chant or I'll kill you. Alright, he licks his lips and looks around. No, there's a gate. Look towards the northwest corner of the square. I'm betting that's where the old serpent is holed up. Don't know how to get past the gate, though. Get out of here. Greetings. I really don't have the time to talk to you. You see, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to complete my spell without the key component. Maybe I can help. He pauses for a second. I guess it couldn't hurt. I am in need of a ruby to complete my spell. It must be of exceptional quality, not like the junk they sell to Marketplace. If you should find one, bring it back to me and I shall make it worth your while.
Updated my journal.
Oh.
All right. I hear your words.
Damn it! What's up?
I'm gone.
The squalid woman looks like she has had all the color bled out of her. Everything from her hair to her shawl to her robe, all are shades of gray. The only splotches of color on her come from several strange herbs which are tied to her belt by their stalks. The herbs make a strange swish when she moves like a broom. Greetings. The elderly woman turns and stares at you, and you notice the gray shades blanketing her body extend to her features as well. Her hair is a wispy gray, and her eyes are like chips of granite. She frowns when she sees you. And who might you be, I am a traveler. Is that so? And where have you traveled from, then? To Death's Kingdom and back, I think. The woman spits once, twice, 3 times, then makes a semicircle over her heart. Or what you say, child, and pray one of the dead powers don't take offense at your words. I see. Who are you? With a slight cackle, she wags her eyebrows. Have you not heard of old Mibeth, then? The midwife of the square? Have you not now? She narrows her eyes and her voice drops. Well, now you have, for I be Mabeth. Your midwife? What do you do?
Updated my journal.
I said bones, right? Drive the cough out of the sick, yank out squealing stubborn babies, mend cloaks or a rag or two, make cures and herbs and others such. She squints at you, studying your scars. Be needing a cure or 3, do you? Cures? Hey, be needing some cures to look at you? Do you want to buy some, do you? She glances at the scars, covering her body again, then shrugs. Too late to be asking for them, I think. Actually, we could use some healing. Mebeth nods. Very well, then. She reaches for one of the dried herbs at her belt, snaps it off at the stalk, then grinds it in her calloused palms. Small whips of dust and pollen rise from her hands. She then mumbles to herself, then bows the dust into the air.
Updated my journal.
The gray pollen swirls around the room, blanketing you and your companions. You breathe deeply, and less than a moment later you feel strangely refreshed. Thank you. Before I go, I had some other questions. Are you a witch? She scrutinizes you. I say not as to what I am and isn't, but what you want to know so fool bad for you to be old woman barking and sniffing for a juicy bit of gossip. I have no idea what I just said. I want to learn about magic. Could you teach me? She laughs. Pah, I'm no teacher, no school mistress, all set up to teach them like in the big festival. There's others somewhere, I'm sure, that I'll spit the dark of you. You'd be wasting your time with old Mebeth, so you would. I don't agree. I think you have a lot to teach. She looks at you intently. Oh, aye? And what do you want to learn? Because I may need it to solve the mystery of who I am. After a moment, Macbeth nods. The art may help, it may not, and yet must be reliant on solving your problem. She says, Child, it's most likely only going to add another chip to your pile of questions. I understand. Will you teach me? She shakes her head. One should make songs rather than make magic. Songs have more beauty. Magic's been made dull, commonplace, soiled by the moment people that have chomped through it. She squints at you. I'll teach you, but first you need to do some things for me. You hear? Like what? My legs aren't good for walking about Sigil, and there's an errands I have to run. I need you to fetch me some herbs from the market. It's powered easterly and southerly from here, in the hive market. Here's a sample. She takes a black seed from her coat and flicks it to you.
Updated my journal.
You twist the black seed in your hand. As you do, you feel a small bite, then a small drop of blood oozes from your thumb. There are tiny barbs in the seed, like teeth. My best source. Careful with it. Show it to one of the fruit merchants in the market, and they will know what herbs you seek. Very well. I'll return when I have the herbs. The midwife of the square needs some herbs sprung from the seed here. Can you help me? The man takes the seed, looks at it critically, and as he presses it between his thumb and forefinger, he winces, and a small drop of blood appears about his thumb. Ah, this seed's got a bite on it. I noticed that. Do you have the herbs she's talking about? He can't seem to take his eye off the seed. Lad, I don't know if there's anyone who has what your friend seeks to be square. I've never seen such a seed before. You would need someone who cultivates seeds such as this, for I have none. Very well, then. Where would I find such a person?
Updated my journal.
Don't know the dark of that, friend. He hands the seed back to you. You'd be hard-pressed to find a gardener in the hive. Maybe Morns for trees could help. Farewell. Greetings, I had questions. He nods, awaiting your question. I need some herbs sprung from the seed. Can you help me? Morns for trees takes the seed from you and holds it up to his eye. What an odd seed. Are those teeth along the edge? Barbs, perhaps? Where did you come by it, friend? Old Mabeth, the midwife in the square, needs some herbs sprung from that seed. Do you know where I could get some? No, Morns for trees continues to stare at the seed in his hand. This is the only seed of its kind I've ever seen. He winces, and a spot of blood glistens on his thumb. The barbs on it are sharp indeed. Perhaps you should hold it. So you can't help me either? Unless you can make that one grow, I cannot. Again, I've never seen a seed like this before, friend. Is there any way to make it grow faster? Perhaps if you cared enough to see it grow. What do you mean? This is Sigil, friend. Belief is everything, everything. From the spire on which Sigil rests to even that tiny seed you hold there. If you believe enough, anything is possible. Focus on the seed. Will it to grow. To your surprise, there is a crack and the seed splits, twigs splitting from its surface like fingers. Instinctively, you drop the seed, but the talon-like twigs wrap around your wrist and will not let go.
Updated my
What the
journal.
hells? Morns for tree stares at the barbed branches wrapped around your wrist, stunned. I think the barbs on those new branches would be more than enough for what your friend needs. I'll return to her then. Thank you for your help.
Have you got the kit?
Die.
Damn it. Did you see that?
Done.
Beth turns you on and gives you a skeptical eye. Your path brings you back here, does it, child? I returned with those herbs you wanted. Now maybe you can get this damn bramble patch off my wrist. Is that so? She glances at the barbs that surround your wrist. If so, think it off then.
Updated my journal.
Creaking and snapping, the black barb branches unravel themselves from your wrist and form into a tangled ball of brush and twigs. It looks like a nest of dead black snakes. She snorts. Think it into a picture frame or something with more structure and less angles. Concentrate on the barbed ball, then imagine it as a picture frame. The branched ball creaks, the twigs bending and twisting until the branches have bent themselves into a small picture frame. Two hand spans on the side, almost unconsciously, you imagine shape the barbs back to the frame so it can be hung on the wall easily. And as an afterthought, you move the remaining barbs to the inside of the frame so it can be picked up by the edges. How's that? She stares at the frame for a moment, then cackles. Ha! Square enough it is. Good work, child, good work. She picks up the frame and scrutinizes it. This'll do nicely. Is that all you wanted it for? Aye, well, this is enough, she sniffs. Aye, but there was one thing I forgot to tell you to fetch when you left last time, and it'll take you back to the merchant square, Will. Look for the cloth seller, Gisquarl. He has some rags of mine that he was supposed to wash, and long has been since I first asked him to do so. You could have mentioned that before I left. Alright, I'll be back. You see a smiling-looking merchant with a brush of gray and red stubble across his chin. He wears several layers of brightly colored robes, so much so that it looks like a flag with arms and legs. He's shaking slightly as you watch. Are you Gisquarl? Aye, Gisquarl. He bows and spreads his trembling hands. As he does, you notice his hands and forearms are a twisted mass of black scar tissue, as if they were once badly burned. I'm here to pick up someone's wash. Mabeth, the midwife, Ragpicker Square? Washcloth? Yes. Mabeth, Ragpicker Square? Rag picker? He taps his fingers as if counting something. I know, I remember. He holds up a trembling finger as if telling you to wait. He comes back with a flat mess of green rags. Thin as paper, yet so stiff they look like they could double as wooden boards. The rags are so coked with a greenish lime starch that they look like it would take 10 years of soaking to relax them. How many times did you clean these? Gisquarl washcloth, starch cloth every 5th day, washcloth, starch cloth every 5th day. His eyes flicker. Gisquarl washed many years, always starch cloth on 5th day. Gisquarl's ritual. But they're ruined. Washcloth is Gisquarl's ritual. His voice is flat, almost zombie-like. Must starch cloth every 5th day. What's the point of doing it every 5 days when they don't need... Oh, never mind. Just hand them over. He nods, then hands you the rags. They're heavy. It's like carrying an armload of bricks. I'll take them back to... What's-her-face now? Really?
Damn it.
All right.
Beth seems lost in twisting the black branch picture frame you made for her. She is scoring the edges and snapping off some of the barb seeds on the branches. She suddenly notices you and sets down the frame. Aye, child. I brought your wash. I think Gisquarl was a little heavy on the cleaning ritual, though. She takes the stacks of starch green rags from you, and she examines them critically. At least they won't tear, she sighs. Or bend. What was with the cloth merchant Gisquarl? His hands were all scarred, and he seemed slow. Still turning the cloth over in her hands, tapping it with her finger. Well, child, sometimes one burns with the art, and other times the art burns ye. Is that what happened to him? She clicks her tongue. Mayhap. There's some for who using the art is like breathing. They strolls about with pointy hats and stinkweed pipes. Then there's hedge wizards and plain-touched gypsies and fortune-casters and half-seers. Midwives who flicker with the art. Them have a harder time of it. And Gisquarl is one of them? She nods. Aye, so to speak. In some ways he's no different now than he was. Addicted to habit and ritual he was. She sets down the stiff rags. They clunk as she places them on the floor. Hey now, there is one last thing I need from you, child. Of course, what do you need? Only this. I need some inks for your scribbin'. Some ingredients as one of me cookery books. I'll need you to fetch them from one of the merchants. Kosaya Jai be your name. For a while, I'll see if I can find her. Alright, I'm off.
Updated my journal.
There we go. The old woman gives you a gummy smile. Some fish, my child? Babette said you sell ink. She sent me to purchase some. Ink, she chuckles. Nay, sir, I sells no ink. I just sell fish. Are you sure the midwife in Ragpicker Square mentioned you specifically? Ah, well, Kosaya Jai was me dam's name and me grandmam's name, so it could be any of us, yet they're both in the dead book, so only this Kosaya Jai matters. No matter what she's about, a midwife in the Picker Square, you say? She thinks for a moment. Don't know her, I don't. Well, then she said you'd be able to help me if that's not the case. So you don't have any ink? Well, I can't say there's much of a surprise. I swear she's having me run in circles. Now, hold on. Your midwife's friend's not all wrong. I know how you can get ink, but it may not be the ink you're looking for. The ink I'm thinking of bleeds from the gills of the Brogata fin, it does. It bleeds ink? She frowns. Aye, thing is, that fish not for eating. It's got a horrible taste, scalds the tongue. You can ask Miriam. She pitches her fish cell down the street a southern way. She cackles. She might have one of them fish you need on her pole. I'll go seek her
Updated
out
my
then.
journal.
Have you heard of a bird got a fin? I was told it bleeds ink from the gills. She blinks and nods. Aye, that fish is a strange one it is. Not many have heard of it unless they'd want to eat it. Difficult to kill, and even in death it still seems to live. Not many want to latch their teeth around something that still writhers. Do you have one?
Updated my journal.
Aye, but the ink, you'll need something to carry it in. Have you a bowl or cup purchase? Or tinkered, maybe one of the merchants is selling one. I need something to hold ink in. Do you have a tankard or a goblet for sale? She nods. Oh yes, many kinds. They range in price from a few coppers to several hundred. Actually, I'm looking for the cheapest one you have. She raises an eyebrow. She reaches into a crate at her side, then throws a better-looking tankard at you. It's covered in dents, and the handle looks like it's about to fall off. This one looks like it was used on someone's skull. She smiles slightly. It'll do.
Updated
Thanks.
my journal.
Farewell. I brought a tankard. Can I get the ink from the fish in it? She nods and plunks a fish from her pole. It twitches as she grabs it, then starts lashing about as she begins to twist it like a rag. She wrings it until bluish-black ichor begins to trickle from the fish's gills. When your tankard is almost full, she relaxes her grip and throws the twitching fish into a sack at her side.
Updated my journal.
Can't afford to get caught off guard, Cutter. We sell only top of the line.
Here we are, Master. I think we can...
Here's that ink you wanted. Oh. She's tugging the massive greenish lime starch rag she brought from Griscoll. She seems to be purposely fraying the edges as if to peel them apart somehow. When she hears you approach, she turns. Here's the ink you wanted. She takes the tankard and then sniffs it. Prime ink, fresh as it is. She nods at you. You've done well, child. All I've asked now, I ask you again after all you've seen. Do you still want to learn the art? Yes, after all, the guiding goal of your errands was to test my persistence, was it not? She smiles, then nods. Yes, mayhap, child, mayhap. And that's not all. You knew who I was... You knew who I had to see to accomplish each errand, didn't you? She nods again, slower this time. Mayhap, child, mayhap. If and so, what did your senses tell you about? Mourns for trees show me that my beliefs affect the world around me. Griscoll taught me that the ritual is a wasted effort if the purpose of the ritual is ignored. Miriam taught me that no matter how much I think I know, there is still so much I can learn from another's eyes. She's silent for a moment, then she walks slowly over to you and touches you on the cheek. Oh, child, she sighs. You will be a master or sorcerer one day, you will. You have no one of it yet. You've come to O Macbeth for help, you have. What could a midwife teach such a one? Much, Macbeth. I want to learn all you have to teach. So you'll walk the path then, she pauses. Well, first things firstly, just having the knack for the art isn't enough. You need some means of giving it focus, usually spells. The spells are usually in a book, so the art demands you have a spell book, or it's like for casting spells. Can you read? Yes. Then let's test it. Can you read this? She draws forth a small tattered card. It looks like a recipe. The writing on the recipe swims before your eyes, each symbol twisting out of focus whenever you try to reach it. Almost instinctively, you relax your eyes, allowing them to take in the page all at once, and the symbols suddenly bleed together. The recipe lists measurements, ingredients. It appears to be some minor divination. This is a minor divination, isn't it? It looks like it's a spell that allows the user to see the nature of an item, to see whether it's enhanced or not. Her eyes widen. Who are you to test Macbeth, so? Are you some fiend? What's
Updated
wrong?
my journal.
Well, not expecting it, was I. She nods at the recipe, then plucks it out of your hand. What you see is written in the language of the art. If you're not mageling yet, it should be all just a swimble of mishmash. She snaps her finger. Yet clear as crystal, you pluck the sense right up. Mayhap you tell old Macbeth why that is. I don't really know. I just knew what it said. Or else a natural gift you may have. No matter, no matter. We've just shaved seasons off your learning we have. Macbeth harumph. And I'd be looking for someone to handle the chores around here, I had. If you need help with anything around here, you can still ask. It's the least I can do in exchange for you teaching me. No, don't worry yourself about that, she frowns. Well, you can read spells well enough, but spells are no good without a book to put them in. Do you have one? She glances around the hut, and then she catches sight of a black bark picture frame you made. She picks it up carefully and studies it. This'll do. That thing, it's just a frame. Ah, but so are you, child. Still holding the frame, she picks up one of the starch rags from Griscold. With a yank, she pulls off the greenish starch surface film. It flutters in the air like a wispy bit of cloth. Whatever Griscold uses in the wash, it works better than curring, stretching, and stoning does on a normal rag. Can't afford parchment, I can't. Parchment? She takes the starchy film and pulls it over the blackened barb frame, latching the rag's edges onto the hooks around the frame until it looks like a small greenish black painter's canvas. It's missing something. Well, it needs something painted on it. She nods. Aye, or written on it. She takes the tankard of ink you've given her and sets it down next to her. She dips one of her fingernails into the tankard, then draws it out, mumbling to herself. She begins to scratch symbols onto the frame, one by one, still mumbling to herself. All it's done. She stands, drying her ink-stained fingernail on her robe. She tilts her head, regarding the strange framed page in front of her. A page for your scroll book. She indicates you should pick it up. Inside your spell book are your recipes, your spells, if you will. As long as they sit in the book, though, they're just words. She taps her head. The art demands you plunk the magic out of the book and put them into your attic in your head, or for you can tap their power. Go on. You put them in your attic by studying them, memorizing them. You usually need to rest first before you can do this, though. Any questions? No. Oh, no questions, eh? Well, now you should have questions. You know all about to memorize spells, do you? You're a sharp one. You sure don't need any more Macbeth's words? You're a master sorcerer already. Forgive me, I meant no questions on what you said. Please explain how to memorize spells. Alright then. Here's the dark of how you memorize the spells. Pick the spells you want to stick in your head from your spell book before you go to sleep, and you wake up in the morning and they're buzzing in your head like flies ready to let them out. How many spells can I cast? You can only cast one, mayhap two spells before needing to rest again. A tiny fiddling mageling, there isn't much room in your attic, so use your spells wisely until you get wiser in the art. As your powers increase, you'll get more room in your attic for spells. Alright, go on. You only cast spells once memorized, so if you want to use the art to say meant something twice, you need to memorize the spell. How many times? Twice. Ah, twice. Right enough. How can I get more spells?
Updated my journal.
She shrugs. Keep your eyes and ears out for learning. Even common folks might have some minor magics to teach. There's also scrolls, recipes, books, and even some stranger items that have spells inscribed on them. If you find one, just examine it close and copy it into your book if you want. Got it. I can also show you more spells if you return, especially when you've a little more of the planes in you. I'd appreciate it, thanks. Before you go, child, you'll need some magics for your appetite. She rummages in her robe, then pulls forth 3 small recipes, which she passes to you. You should copy these into your book so they can get into your attic as soon as possible.
Updated
Thanks.
my journal.
Wait, there's more. She fishes a tiny bundle of black cloth from her apron and rolls it, producing a pair of amber earrings. They're protecting your travels. I no longer wear them myself, so go ahead and take them. Alright, child, don't tarry here any longer. One such as he has other ways to spend one times rather than hang around old Mebeth. Now come on, Mebeth, you're not old. Thanks for everything. Puh, you can thank me by not paying the Adelcove with what you've learned. The art damned many a fool who sought to bend it in the ways art were meant to bend. Now get along.
I feel stronger. All right.
I feel stronger. Huh. Fist of Iron. Hmm. Could I rest here? Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I know this episode was a little bit of a longer one, but hey, we're sort of a mage now, so that'll be interesting. So yeah, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And as always, we'll see you all in the next one.